Chancellor, it is now my great pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, the Dean of Education and Head of School of Education, Professor Robert Parkes. Robert is a university leader and highly respected scholar in history education. He completed his Bachelor of Education with first-class honours and the University Medal at the University of Sydney before earning his doctorate in 2006 right here at our university. Robert is a leading international expert in the field of history education. One of his concepts, his research and teaching focuses is historical empathy, the ability to step into the shoes of someone in the past and understand their decision-making. Robert was the founding editor-in-chief of the journal Historical Encounters and is co-convener of the History Education Research Network. As a side note, and maybe some of the students knew this, he's also an expert in the history of martial arts as a martial arts teacher and a martial arts practitioner. He has black belts in Chinese, Filipino and Japanese forms, so you should never argue with him. Right? So the qualities of personal discipline, respect and patience at the heart of martial arts expertise also translate to Robert's leadership style. He is a mentor to many and a true champion for the role of education in transforming lives. Robert has led major curriculum renewal initiatives within the School of Education and has held numerous leadership roles. We're delighted that after a period as acting head of school, he has now been officially appointed to this role. It's wonderful to have you here tonight, Robert. Graduates and guests, please join me in warmly welcoming Professor Robert Parkes to deliver this.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council, staff of the University, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly, graduates. I begin by acknowledging that we gather here today on the traditional lands of the Awabakal people. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and recognise the enduring connection to this land, its waters and its knowledge. Graduates, today is your day. It marks the culmination of years of effort, sacrifice, doubt, perseverance, and I hope moments of joy and discovery. It also marks the beginning of something equally significant, your entry into professions that shape lives every single day. Whether in classrooms or clinical settings, you'll be entrusted with something precious, the well-being, growth and future of others. Standing before you today, I'm reminded that every journey to this moment is complex. Mine certainly was, just like many of yours. I was born into a single-parent, working-class family in northwest Sydney. I was the first in my family to attend university, and maybe only one of half dozen people from my high school cohort to do the same. So, like many of you, stepping into higher education was stepping into the unknown. Across my extended family, 9 people in my generation, across 4 family units, 3 in Australia and 1 in Scotland, only 2 others attended and graduated from university, both of whom, interestingly, also studied to be teachers. Today, my daughter, also a martial art instructor, follows in my footsteps, completing her doctoral studies in education here at the University of Newcastle. Education, in all its forms, has a transformative power that changes lives, and its impact spans generations, each of us opening the door for the next. In school, I showed an early love of history that has been significant to my career, and that came from an unlikely place, watching historical dramas and documentaries and seductive pseudo-docos like Chariots of the Gods with my mother and grandparents huddled around the single household TV, along with shows like Doctor Who, where the characters travelled on adventures through time and space. Perhaps, too, it was shaped by the longing to fill gaps in my own story. An absent father whom I met only once while visiting the UK at the age of 40, the same year I crossed the stage to be awarded my PhD here at the University of Newcastle. Turning 14 seems to have been another significant year in my life. It was the year I started martial arts education that would eventually see me with black belts or their equivalent in Chinese, Japanese, Filipino and Afro-Brazilian traditions. It was also a time when I dreamed of becoming an author, following the realisation that Doctor Who was not, in fact, going to arrive in a TARDIS and take me away on adventures, and that I must become a science fiction writer instead. A few years later, I enrolled at Macquarie University to study mass communication, one of only 2 places you could at the time. But I dropped out after census date, receiving fail grades for all 4 of my courses. With apologies to my English lecturers, I couldn't imagine reading a novel a week. Charles Sturt University had been the alternative place to study journalism, but to my 19-year-old self, it seemed impossibly far away over the mountains. It would not be until a decade later, motivated by my wife's decision to become a teacher, that I would return to university. And as I walked the halls at the University of Sydney, I realised that Doctor Who, in a sense, was an academic, travelling to the past and to the future in his mobile office, working with a team of research assistants and exploring the unknown. At 30, this realisation had opened a new path. As a mature age student, I was probably, let's be honest, a bit annoying to my peers. I did the readings, I asked questions, I was deeply engaged. Ironically, I'd become the kind of student that had once intimidated me and contributed to my first departure from university. During that period, my wife and I studied at 2 different universities, lived on Austudy and tag-teamed raising our 2 children between assignments. It was intense, but it was also transformative. I graduated from the University of Sydney with the University Medal in the year of the Olympics. It was a bronze medal, and my son kept me humble by asking who won the gold. I went on to pursue a PhD while teaching in inner Western Sydney, juggling life as a doctoral student and roles as a history and ESL teacher, a school network administrator and a technology support teacher, helping other colleagues integrate new tools into their classrooms. That journey led me over the mountains that once seemed so far away to Charles Sturt University and my first ongoing academic position, and eventually here to the University of Newcastle in 2007, where I've served as a teacher educator for almost 2 decades. This year has been particularly special. I commenced my promotion to professor, celebrated my 60th birthday and was appointed Dean of Education. As I mark 20 years of academic service here, more than half in academic leadership positions, it is a profound honour to address you today. It is customary on occasions like this to offer some advice. I've been reflecting on what I might share, drawing on teaching and academic leadership experience and lessons from 40 years of martial art practice. First, a note about leadership. I often say you can't take kryptonite to Superman. You will encounter colleagues, managers and supervisors who can't tolerate their ideas being challenged, and this never leads to good results. Stay open to having your own ideas questioned. In both teaching and nursing, your best thinking will often come through dialogue, disagreement and reflection. The opponent, whether a colleague, situation or an idea, can be your greatest teacher. Challenge sharpens thinking. It reveals blind spots, and if you share solutions and not just problems, people will continue to listen to you. Friends know that studying martial arts has significantly shaped my own approach to life. In the Afro-Brazilian martial art of capoeira, which I've practiced for the past decade, there is a question often asked by beginners: can you take down a master in the game? The answer is yes, of course you can try, but with a crucial caveat. You can do whatever you choose, but you must be prepared for the consequences. How you act and how you respond after success matters just as much as the act itself. In your professions, capability is always best matched with humility, integrity and care. Studying Japanese martial arts exposed me to the concept of Sanmitsu, the triple secret, the alignment of thought, word and action. When your intentions, your plans and your behaviour are aligned, you move forward without wasted energy. In classrooms and clinics, that alignment builds trust. It makes you effective. It allows others to rely on you. There will be times when things don't work out the first time. When that happens, don't despair. Borrow success. Look at what others are doing well and incorporate it into your own practice. Open doors for yourself and for others. Don't burn bridges. You may be surprised how often opportunity arises because you maintained generosity of spirit during adversity. And finally, always follow the path with a heart. Teaching and nursing are not easy professions. They demand resilience, patience and courage. But they also offer something extraordinary: the chance to make a real difference in another person's life, to help someone learn, to help someone heal, to stand alongside others in moments that matter. This is work that connects you to purpose. It is work that will challenge you, but also sustain you. Graduates, you've also already taken the first step on what I hope will be long, meaningful and fulfilling careers. You have proven that you can persist, adapt and grow. The world now needs what you have to offer. On behalf of everyone here, I congratulate you. I thank your families and friends who supported you, and I wish you every success as you step forward into the next chapter. May you lead with integrity, act with compassion, and always walk a path with heart. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Parks, and congratulations on your recent appointment.